everyone. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Eli, and welcome to my channel Thick Threads, a channel dedicated to my cross stitching and other crafts. Flosstube number 10. I did make a mistake with my thumbnail for last video that also says 10, but this is for real 10. Last time was 9. I'll probably change that sooner or later. But I hope you're all well. I have some things to talk about as always. We have one start, a lot of whips, because I did something kind of fun in mid-harvest hangout that made me have a lot of whips. I do have a talking session because I want to talk about something that I didn't get a chance to talk about last time. I have some shout outs. I want to talk about a little birthday event I'm doing in early October and some general plans and haul. So the first start is I got a couple weeks ago the final part of the Paka round robin I'm doing with some people off of Discord, the Stitching Pixies Discord. We are doing a round robin based off this Peachtober pattern by Studio Paka, where we pick 2 designs and we are going to make a little collage. So this is where it's at. Use the threads. So I started a little bit on the border and put in the motif that I'm doing for all 3 of ours, which is a little pearl in a oyster clam. Keep on forgetting, little pearl in a shell. And then I think I've decided what to put here, but I don't know yet. I was trying to see if I could match kind of the bird theme, but I don't think there's any more birds in the patterns we can select, so I might do another animal or something else. This one will take a little bit longer because I have to also do this side border on the other side to close it off. But again, it's a very tiny pattern, so I can focus on it for a couple of days and get it done and send it back to Allie. Yeah, this is done on a Zweigart, yeah, 14 count black Ada with the code for colors. Very nice. I'm very excited to get mine back and see what different motifs people chose for mine. I still don't know what I'm going to do, like FFO it. I might frame it. I first thought it'd be a cute project bag panel, but I might just frame it because I do have a cute frame, but I don't know if it really matches with the colors and all that. So let's go on the whips. So the thing that I did in mid-harvest hangout, because I don't really have that together, is I always like to do something fun for those events. In the past 3 this year, I started something, usually a Jet X pattern, but I didn't want to start another one because I have 2 working patterns and I'm going to start one next week. So what I did for Sampler September is I got all of my whips that have sampler in its name, or I consider a sampler, and I rotated them out throughout the weekend. On Saturday, I was doing like every hour or so rotate, and then Friday night, Sunday, it was a little bit more loosey goosey with it because, I just wanted to stitch what I wanted to stitch in terms of the samplers and some other stuff. But the other stuff I touched so like a couple minutes, or I only did it for like a whip speed dating, which you really don't get a lot of time to actually stitch because you're talking a lot with someone. That I didn't include them in the whip pile. That being said, our first one is not one of those samplers. It is, of course, Garden Bear by the Artsy Housewife, which is a whip I'm doing for my Fat Bear weekly sale, which is almost done. It will be done. Technically, it should be done in a couple days because I realized that this year's Fat Bear week is done September 30th, which usually they end it in early October. I don't know why the shift, but I think I knew that from the beginning, and I still said October 8th is our official end date, just to give it some more time. But here, so this is the last time you saw it. I did a good thing this time where I took screenshots before I started recording of where they were before, so I kind of know what I added, which is good for me because sometimes I forget. And then here we are. So I stopped. I could have finished it for sure, but again, I wanted to stop to give some delay over finishing it, so I will finish it this week because it's only this part left of this dark brown, and then I will fully finish it. I have a frame and all that, so I'll just lace it up and put it in that frame. Uh, I said I could probably finish and like fully finish it by September 30th. I don't know. I have to think it through. I have to think it through. Probably I'll do it just because I again I'll have it fully like finished, so I don't want to like delay the fully finishing because it won't be that tough. Um, so yeah, but here it is. It's on an 18 count gilded by Mystic Fabrics with the code for DMC. I love how it's turning out, and I cannot wait to have it fully finished. Uh, oh, to have it done, but also I can move this Q snap to the Cherry Magpie because I don't have that many Q snaps. So the next pattern I have is one of the. Oh no, this I didn't work as a sampler, though I could consider it. So it's Quaker Floral Puzzle, which I'm doing for Krista Clover Hop Stitching as a part of the hashtag Iconic Ink Circles round robin. This is the pattern. We are doing the more like the that color palette. It's done. Let me show you where it was before, and then I'll tell you the materials. And then this is where it is now. So when I looked at the photo, I know for sure these big blue flowers are new, and I put in these, and then I started working on some of the bigger flowers here. I also added these little spots. No, not those. These little ones. And that allowed me to fully finish the first page. But I think I'm also fully finished now with the second page after completing all of this stuff. So now I'm going to go more into this area and then come up because we kind of end. I have to look back at the how Krista divided it, but it's kind of diagonal where we end. It's done on an 18 count Scotsman by Bestitch Me, called for DMC in this respective palette by Ink Circles. And it's, I've had a lot of fun with it, but I'm really trying to push it to get it done sooner than later. I don't know about October because we'll talk about it in plans, so my October is very busy, but hopefully. So that is Quaker Floral Puzzle by Ink Circles. I'm here. So this one, my next whip, is something I worked on during mid-harvest hangout. I put a lot of work into it. And this is Charlotte Watkins 1866 by QuaintRose Needlearts. This is the pattern. I am not doing the picture stitching in the center and I believe top right of the original pattern. And I did a full color conversion based a little bit on what the antique looks like now and just my general vibe. I put in a lot of work. Oh, this is the last time you saw it. I think I got 2 motifs fully done. And then it is where it is now. So since the last time you saw it, I completed this motif and this motif. Oh, I haven't completed this. There's a couple lines that kind of interspersed, like, I don't know what you call these. I just call them berries. This berry tree. So I have to put those lines in, and then it will be done. And then I did want to finally start putting in. I think Sarah Stitchy Spot, who I watch a lot, refers to this as like kind of the border back skeleton backbone, or it's like the first part of the border. So this very important like counting part, and then you later on go to the berries and the leaves. But I don't want to my own horn, but like I really it's the thing with it was this being my first fully color conversion. I was still worried that I wasn't gonna like it or it was gonna turn out weird. But honestly, y'all, especially when I finally got to put this, because this was one of the starting points to the conversion, I just was like, hell yeah. It was so I love it so much. And this. I was also worried about this because in the original pattern, I was like, these are very clashing colors in the original. So with my color conversion, what's it going to turn out to? And I do like it. Yeah, it's very Easter as well, kind of the color combo. The dark purple again, I wouldn't switch out because I love this dark purple, but you know, a revision could have been made because it is kind of darker than a lot of stuff. So maybe a lighter dark purple, if that makes sense, would complement it in other ways, like in different areas. Of course, this was a mistake I did, so really don't focus on that. But in lieu of here, not in lieu, but like here and here, it could be talked about to make it lighter. But again, I love where it is. I think I fully decided that instead of putting Charlotte's name, I'll be putting my name. And because of that, I need to find an alphabet. And I wanted to ask y'all if putting Bad Stitch's Candy Pop alphabet using that, which I'll have on the screen now, is that too wild to put as the alphabet in this name? I don't think so. I think it goes with the vibe of the colors that I'm doing and my vibe in general. And I'm a person, I've talked about this before, where I'm very loose of the rules of samplers and reproduction, where I like combining stuff. Uh, so I don't really, you know, care. That's two things combining. Uh, the only thing is the spacing, because I have, I guess, not like a super long name, but it's not short with my name and first and last name. But yeah, I don't know. I think it would be cool, especially with the colors, because I would not use the called for candy pop, though it kind of works well with it. Um, we'll see. But yeah, sorry, I put a lot of work because I again, like I said last time, I just can't put this whip down. It's so good. Excuse the noise. Uh, so I got a lot of work done on it throughout mid harvest hangout. So the next whip uh, is not something I worked on mid harvest hangout. I worked on it before, and that, of course, is Parakeets and Jarcaranda Tree by Mudpuppy Stitches, shown the pattern here. Uh, and this is the last time you saw it. I wasn't as good these past 2 weeks notating things on Notion. I also don't have my tablet with me, so I can't put in dates, like how many days I worked on it, but I got a couple of dates. And then let me fold it. This is where it is now. So really, the work that's been done is on this side, like completing, like in turn. I think I'm almost. Oh no, I'm not done with the first page because I thought I was, but there's another lower flower. So it's just completed this part of the flower. There's more on the second page, and then a lot of the, just a little bit more branch. This is done on a 20 count raspberry swirl Ada by Atomic Ranch. With called for DMC. This is a model stitch I'm doing for Kenzie. So of course called for DMC. And I did just realize I did not say for Charlotte, a one of a kind volcano stitching 20 count Ada. That's for Charlotte. Back to Parakeet. Yeah, love it. There's still a bit to go. I have to like the whole other half, but slow and steady. And I think with my plans, like the best way. It does have to be. I would personally. Again, Kenzie didn't give me a deadline, but I would like to, because it's also a Christmas gift for someone. I need to get it done by November or like late November, so I can send it to Kenzie and she can send it to me back so I can fully finish it. The next whip is something I did work on in Mid Harvest Hangout. I'm very happy it is my design, which I'm fine again showing progress. This is the last time you saw it. I just had some of the top border and the start of the corn done, and this is now where we're at. So I again took more of the corn kernel border out. I think I have a couple left. Finished this corn on the cob. Well, this isn't corn on the cob because of the leaves. Well, no, this corn motif. This new border, which will be the side border, I started. Very easy stitching, which I like. And then I started on the word. So this sampler will have a quote, like many of them do. I didn't do it. This doesn't make any sense. It's not lined up like this. It's in line. So this doesn't make sense. But I'm glad to have gotten more work doing it. I do want to work on it at least 2 more times this month. I don't want to, yeah, 2 more times this month. It is interesting again designing, model stitching your own design. The changes that happen, there will be other corn motifs, and the way they're laid out has shifted like a lot. Um, so that's a change I did. The other changes, I think I had these more they're alterating colors, and I think I had it more like alternating within the word. Like maybe this would have been a lighter this, and then I realized one, I try to limit that many color changes within a line, and two, when I looked at it, it was more legible when it was done like this than the other thing because something's lighter, it pops out more. So, just made sense to do that. But yeah, this is my sampler design. Happy with it a lot. This is an 18 count, yeah, 18 count Hydra by Black Dahlia Fabrics on Etsy. And then called for DMC, which is my code for. Again, I want to get work on it more, but also I'm not in a huge rush to get it done. So we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. This is exciting. One of the two exciting things because this hasn't been worked on since May for Marumi May, and that is my Turanj sampler by MarrommyDesigns. I know I did it with Marumi May, and I also, when I first was starting out with Andrew the Runner Stitcher's Whip into Shape, which I fell off of because I realized I'm not good at like tracking challenges when it comes to tracking like number of stitches. So maybe at least at most I worked on a little bit in June, but other than that, I just haven't touched it. But some of me and my stitchy friends might be doing a round robin where we kind of kickstart whips again. So I kind of wanted to get this in a good shape to send it off next month to my friends. So that's why I stitched on it during mid harvest hangout. I can look back at my floss tubes and see when was the last time you saw it. I was supposed to also take a photo right before I started stitching it, and I did not do that. Started stitching it in mid harvest, but did not do that. So I'll just show you. So what I did, excuse the hanging thread, I did finish this motif that I was happy for, and this little center one was not filled. So technically, I also finished this motif, and then I brought the border down to around here, and then I did start, but as you see, I stopped. So that's fun. The fabric is an 18 count lemon lime smoothie by Becky Stitches on Etsy, and the floss is a fancy floss color co- oh, color classic works. That's not what it's called. Oh, it is classic color works marmalade, and this is my citrus sampler as I called it. I mean, I still call it that because of lemon lime and marmalade. And Turanj, direct translation, if I'm correct, is citron or citrus. Uh, so that's fun. It was something coming back to this. I miss working on this. The other thing is, this was still in the time where I thought to end a thread, you also loop start it. You use the loop method, or the use the one-handed, one strand. Oh my god, sorry, y'all. The one-stranded loop method to also finish your lines, and that is not what you do. So there is a lot of uh, strands coming out. So I know a big part of this getting it back will be fixing all of those as well. But that's fine. We haven't really cleared up the round robin in terms of like what exactly we're asking each person to do, but I'll probably ask people to do maybe either work on a bit of a big motif or maybe do a full small one and then really just the border is really it's a fun border, but it gets repetitive. So the main work I really want done is the border and then motifs as people see fit. I'm not gonna tell someone you have to make one of the big ones, finish it. No. Nah. And this house in my it's always fun looking at this. My first ever project bag was rough around the edges, but the start of my project bag trajectory. So that's the Turanj sampler. Next up, I didn't think I did more work on this, but I did a little bit. So I wanted to show it very quickly. It's my Stitch for Pride for this month, dedicated to Liliev. Um, this is done on a 32 count Lugana Artemis by Atomic Ranch. And the thread I chose for this month is a one of a kind by Brennan Needle to match what the called for was. And yeah, I've been severely behind on just stitching it and especially on the learning. So, and this weekend's the last weekend of I need to finish this weekend. So this will be the only thing I work on probably this weekend to get it done and to while listening to the learnings because she's so interesting that, it's just been on me. It's been a busy month and all that. The hint it's by D's 20 Stitches. I'm really flying through this, which makes me forget things. It's done by D's 20 Stitches. We're almost done. We have October, November, December. He hinted at October, and it looked really fun, so I can't wait. I don't know what thread I'm going to use, but I'll figure that out. My last whip is also something I did for Mid Harvest Hangout with Turanj, Charlotte, and my design. And this hasn't been touched. I remember starting it on Maddie Kitty Stitcher's birthday, but I didn't write that down when that was. And this is Thistle Manor, a freebie design by BlackBird Designs. I'll just throw the photo is not clear at all, and I don't really want to use someone's on Instagram's photo, so I'll just quickly show this. I mean, it's a freebie, so that's what it looks like. This was done as a part of Curious Crafters hashtag sampler color exploration, which was a challenge, kind of star along, stitch along, where you pick a small sampler, you print it black and white so you're not influenced by the colors, and you make your own palette with threads that you either have in stash or you buy. So this was done with a variegated Flosstube model, so it was just simple, just not using the variegated, and I picked the palette. Again, it's been worked on. It hasn't been worked on for a while, so I don't know the last time. I don't have a photo. Here's some of the. Here's the palette that I'm working with. Very neon-y, bright palette, and I am doing this on a 30 count R&R 18th century grape, which is kind of a. I think it was limited edition. You can't really find it anymore, so it's a very dark purple. So since last time, I completed all of the house, like the outside of the house. I put in more in the inner house, like in the inner door and these little things. And then I brought up the big thistle. So I finished this leaf and started going up. And again, it was fun. It's fun to like, it's good for things to take a break and all that, but it's fun to come back to something that you haven't because it kind of gives you a little new drive. Well, I don't know. When will I pick this up again? I do not know. But it's good that I got some work in it during mid harvest hangout. Alrighty, so that's all the whips. It was a lot for these past 2 weeks, but a lot of that was during mid harvest, so that makes sense because all of the weekend I was really there. And it was, good as really good as all the other ones, talking to people, whip speed dating. I didn't get anything, so it was really just a stitchy kind of weekend. Now, next is kind of something I'm not hesitant to talk about. I just want to talk about it because I felt bad. I wanted to talk about it last time. I didn't because I just wasn't in the good mindset to really talk about it in general and the time of filming this and that. But basically, people have brought up, I know, Stitch Apocalypse, Envis. I've talked about it, and probably other Flosstubers, about somewhat recent events. I mean, it's still recent in the month of September, and with a, I'll just say it again, say it. political assassination of Charlie Kirk and people's reactions to it, and then within the cross stitch community, rejections within it. And the things that I want to say are basically, I'll go, I don't want to make this long and long and long, but basically, something that I learned coming into this, that I learned a couple months in, is we are a community, but you also have to cultivate a community within the community, which I think is totally fine because it's still a big community in terms of people who do stitching. And like everything, you correspond with people who stitch a similar style, have other similarities, which also means your, beliefs, morals, etc., etc. So, I had to learn, and another issue that comes out of this is a lot of times learning about, let's say, designers, dyers, etc., other floss tubers that might have very different views than you, and how to approach that. A lot of times that's it's not like a huge community billboard with those kind of things. You kind of have to learn it through word of mouth or posts on Reddit, like our craft snark, which I do recommend. If you do want to talk about that kind of stuff, there is a field for embroidery. And basically, that's a big issue because you don't know. And when you learn, you can be somewhat in an awkward position if you're working on a pattern or using materials from that person that now you're like, oh, I don't agree with their views at all. What do you do? It's hard to completely throw something in away because of that, but also, the other side of, again, not correlating with their views. And I've dealt with that, and now have dealt, there's been more since this whole thing has started. And yeah, it's hard to approach it, and it's going to be different for everyone. And that's a personal decision of, your spectrum of what you do in regards to the specific, patterns, dyers, fabrics. Some people you choose to not support anymore, and if you do have them, you figure out a way to not have them. I'll be more transparent. The leftover fabrics from the Emily C raffle that I have are fabrics that the dyers are in this situation. So I'm figuring out what to do because is it right for me? One part of my brain justifies it like I didn't pay for this, and a giveaway, the person who get it also hasn't paid for it, so it's not like direct support, but still is their fabric. And again, what do you do? Do I just wait for my retreat with the freebie table and just throw them there? I'm thinking it through, and yeah, the cultivating the community within the community is a big thing, and I think you know also, again, with the commute thing, it's sometimes hard with social media, Flosstube, and all that. Is the basic fact with a lot of people I talk to on Flosstube, we're still strangers. We talk about something that we have in common, but we are still strangers. So you give people benefit of doubt. You come with them, open and all that, but you kind of have to be also ready for these things to happen, and you like, I don't align, I'll unfollow, etc. And I don't think there's any issue with it. I don't personally. I have only done this once of like putting on my social media, like, wow, this is wild that what this person said or is doing in relation to something or a viewpoint. Wow. But I don't do that a lot. Some people do more. Again, that's totally up to them. It's their profile, it's their thing. They're in their right to do that. I just do it. I don't know. That's another thing, the visibility of all that. And it's not like to shield myself or the person who I don't have the view agree with the viewpoint at all. Just like I'm like it's just a simple switch. Is like yeah, nah. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, I think that's mostly it. I mean, Yeah, I didn't want to. I mean, oh, this is the final thing. Sorry for it being a little bit all over the place. I think another discussion that comes up with a broader scope of art is this separating art from artists. I'll be honest with y'all. I do not prescribe to that. I don't think I ever did because I don't believe that in any way. The art is in a vacuum, that it doesn't is not affected by the person who's creating it. So I can't do that. Oh, and this is the other final point where D20 Stitches posted it on their story, and I do agree with this, and I thought about this before before they mentioned it in their story, where we do understand that this craft is a refuge for us. It's a hobby, it's a craft, it relaxes us, it does that. The point where sometimes it disconnects for me is that it also, some people, and sometimes I do this, and then I'm trying to not do this as well, is act like use it as a shield against these kinds of things where if it doesn't agree with me morally, I don't I'm not gonna say, oh, we're both crafters, this is my refuge. I'm flying blind to it. It doesn't I don't personally prescribe to that. And again, because it's every individual, people are gonna do what they're gonna do. If you do that, I also understand and I get that. But you also have to put into perspective to individuals with different identities and different lived experiences, queer people, people of color especially, and then any intersection of that, how that can't really be done. My crafting is an embodiment of my queerness. I think about it with Charlotte Watkins. I think, of course, with it with Stitch for Pride. But everything I do, because it comes from me, that perspective is interwoven into my thread, into my fabric, into my whips. And the same goes to you. Whatever you're coming from, your lived experiences, your thoughts, your passions, etc., is getting interwoven. And that's talked about in many floss tubes and all that. And many people have talked about that, was what it meant. So for me, that mindset, again, not trying to disengage it as a hobby that relaxes, a hobby that to find solace in, because it is, when it goes that further, it's a disconnect for me. I get it, I just don't embody that within my craft. And another, doing a lot of other things. Another thing is, and it kind of goes to posting things on social media about people you don't have agreements with. I'm never gonna like at these online events or in a physical retreat be like, oh, if I see someone working on maybe a designer that I don't care for, and when I say I don't care for, it's not like aesthetically like their viewpoints don't agree with if they're doing something with like AI or all that. I'm not gonna be like, no, boo, because that's weird. That's just weird behavior. If I knew the person, it could maybe be a bigger conversation. Uh, but it's very nuanced. Is you are approaching people, strangers, and people you do somewhat know. So you have to be. There's a lot going on, and this conversation is very nuanced. That I don't think a single floss tuber and a floss tube can really talk about it. What's not nuanced is there's designers that I will never do because of their viewpoints. Uh, my cross stitch, even though sometimes it's just funny animals, Pokemon, this and that is political. I'm queer through and through. If you don't agree with that, if that doesn't vibe with you, I understand. If you're cultivating your community, it's you what you gotta do. Uh, and I think this is allowing myself, even talking about this right now, allows myself to talk about in the future and do projects where I can just talk more freely because it's also my channel. Um, so yeah, that's a lot. I don't know. I mean, if you want to discuss it in the comments, feel free to. Always be respectful to my opinions, the opinions of others. Also in DMs, if you want to. I'm not going to debate the morality of like, I don't think this designer is that bad. I'm not going to do that. So don't. But this more nuanced conversation is something I want to explore, and also with newer stitchers, not showing like not it's not like a revealing. It's just like people have different viewpoints that might affect your stitching. You got to figure it out. It's up to you. No, it's not up to you. it is up to you on how you respond and how you work with it in your craft. So that's my talking session, and it's it's about the community. It's about this craft that I enjoy so much, and I do enjoy the community so much, and that will dovetail into some general shout outs of people. Two new ones, two new floss tubes, and one floss tube that I was supposed. I don't know. I watched a couple of their episodes, but I don't know why I never shouted them out before. The first I'm super excited is Feather Dust Stitchery, which is a couple, Grace and Aspen. They released two videos, their first Floss Tube episode and a finished parade by Aspen. So watch their video first off. I'll have their channel linked in the description below. But they're a couple, they're a duo. Aspen is a cross stitcher. She does a lot of the stitching. Grace does like beading work. I know that, but Grace is a designer, and they released their first design. I will have it here. I did buy it. It's on Etsy, and they have a Ko-fi. I love it. I do like these stamp kind of patterns. I don't remember the name, but I will be doing it sometime. Uh, Please go support their Floss Tube, their channel. I hanged out with Aspen at Mid Harvest Hangout, which was a lot of fun. I started the finish parade. Aspen has tons of amazing finishes and whips going on. So if you like me, you'll certainly like both Grace and Aspen. The other new cross stitcher, I think she has two episodes out now, is Caitlin, the Nerdy Stitcher. Caitlin, like me, is very influenced by video game culture and video games. She's self drafted a pattern inspired by the video game Hades, which I love. And I love seeing the progress that she's done making on it. She also has a lot of full coverages, which aren't my particular style, but it's cool to watch people's progress. I know with Becca's stitching, I like watching, I like seeing that. And with others, it's still cool. It's like a very specific type of project that I may not do, but it's cool to see the progress. Uh, so with Caitlin, again, if you like me, you'll probably like a lot of her projects. So I totally recommend it. And the person who I remember watching their first Floss Tube when it first came out, and then you know, people say there's so many Floss Tubes coming out that it's hard to keep up. Sometimes you kind of jump between people. Is Tommy Creates, who is an amazing floss tuber, does amazing projects, and for me personally, it's very inspiring with dyeing because Tommy dyes a lot of the fabrics that she works on. She's also this amazing quilter, and she has a little bird. Oh, I forgot the bird's name. How embarrassing of me! But I love the bird as well that she has that shows up in her videos. And there's so many. She's just started a Reflata Soie, which looks so good, and she's getting into design, which I'm very excited for because they'll probably be amazing. So please watch Tommy Creates as well. They have a couple of floss tubes and some dyeing videos and some videos before their floss tube, which I also think is worthwhile for watching. So those are my three shout outs. My next thing I want to talk about is my little birthday event that I'm doing. So my birthday is October 2nd, which is next week, or in a couple days, depending on when I post this video. It will be before October 2nd. So I did post this on my Instagram. I'll have it here. But basically, I know I'm starting Cherry Magpie. I didn't want to do a start along, stitch along because that's been done before. People are working on Cherry Magpie, have finished Cherry Magpie. I just didn't want to do one. I didn't want to put that pressure on anyone, including myself. I didn't want to do. I think someone recently was it Stitch Tits? I don't remember. It was a very good idea of stitching something with food on it. That was really fun. So I couldn't do that because Cherry Magpie. Someone did that, and and crows and magpies aren't really my thing. So I didn't want to also do like stitch on a crow thing, stitch on a magpie. So I was like, oh wait, people compliment my stuff, which I'm always very happy about in terms of my very bold, colorful fabric choices. So the thing I set to do is on October 2nd, which is a Thursday, or the weekend, which I'll probably do because my Thursdays are a bit busier, eh, is to pick out your whip that has the most, your whip that has the most brightest fabric, the boldest fabric, colorful, etc., etc., and work on it for as long as you like. that day or that weekend, whatever. I'll be doing with Cherry Magpie with my Fizzy Pop printed needle. So I'm super excited. And I got some DMs with people saying sharing what they would stitch on. I'm super excited. And you can tag me. Also, the other thing with hashtags, which is how Instagram's changing, it's better just to tag and not have, yeah, it's better just to tag me and then I can just share with everyone else and be like, look at this fun fabric. So yeah, that is my birthday event. Next up with plans, keep on doing what I'm doing. Gonna focus on Charlotte Watkins. Well, focus on Stitch for Pride to get it done. Work a little bit more on Charlotte Watkins. I'm gonna do that tonight at Rittenhouse Needlepoint's stitching night. Work on my design. I'm gonna fully finish my bear the next time you'll see it, and this weekend I'm gonna fully finish my Walk in Nature Thunderstorm. I found a very good pattern. I can't wait to see how it turns out. Um, in that October is going to be a busy month because I do have planned starts, Cherry Magpie being one of them, but it's also Stitch Pluto. So I do want to, and I have some ideas for some stitchy gifts slash table gifts that include stitching. So there's going to be a majority of that. I might front load Stitch for Pride so I get that done earlier to have more time on my table gifts. They're not big, they just, I have to do a couple of them to hand out to people. So have those two things, Cherry Magpie. And then Uncanny Kari, who is one of my favorite designers of many, released, here it is, one of the best, this is honestly, no joke, one of the coolest patterns I've ever seen. It's called Undead Orchard. It's in a series of amazing Halloween patterns she has. Graveyard Guardian, I think, is a name of another one. And the other one is kind of like a love, skeletons in love with a witch. They're all great. I want to do all of them. But I was so happy. I was so excited seeing this on her Patreon first, and then she later, like a couple minutes, like an hour or two, released it on Instagram. I bought it instantly. I did not have black fabric. She likes to use black fabric. I don't have any except for the pocket studio, which isn't even mine. So I, on the spark, was like, I need to dye something because I do have still for my dye experiments a dark brown. So I got antique white Charles Craft 18 count Ada they got from the thrift store, and I dyed it in dark brown, very dark brown, like a couple of caps full for like a couple of hours because I wanted it dark. I'm happy to say how it turned out. I do like the modeling of it on here. I don't know what happened here because this is not modeling. It's like another thing that happened. I was talking to people and just like it's a thrift store thing, you don't know what kind of things are on it or what it's made on, so it could just be a byproduct of that. Didn't you also the modeling is different on the back? It is also lighter, this kind of streaky thing, so I don't know. I will be doing this. Oh yeah, Garrett from Coffee Stitcher, the Coffee Stitcher, yeah, said this, and I was like, what? This looks like a frog, and it 100% does, and I can't unsee it. It looks so much like a frog, it's kind of weird. It will be stitched over probably, but it's like such a frog. Yeah, dark brown red Ada. We'll be doing this. I think it's also good with it's a bunch of reds. And it's an orchard, it's like a tree, bark, dark brown. So super excited. Do I have anything else? October start. I do kind of want to do Halloween delivery by Plum Street Sampler. I don't know. I'm doing a lot. I want to start this now, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think that's mostly. I mean, and then work on whips as I see fit, of course. I'm doing my smalls exchange for Stitch Pluto. That's my lunchtime stitch. It's almost done. So I'll have to see what's the next stitch. I do want to do like a fun, not like a full vlog, but some clip show of Stitch Pluto, which will either be a Flosstube extra or just a Flosstube for the later month of October. So that should be fun. And yeah, so yeah, October will be busy. I'm super excited though. Gonna make some birthday purchases, cross stitch related, which I'm very excited for. Treating myself in terms of helping my stitching out, especially for the retreat, and then a fun, just it's my birthday. Alrighty. And speaking of which, the next thing I only have one thing for haul, but I know some people don't really enjoy viewing haul, which I totally understand. So if you're not, thank you again for watching my video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and keep on stitching. And for the people who are still here, the only thing I got was uh, Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe has her D stash on Etsy, and she got, I don't know if this is from her stash or someone donated her. She has those videos going through the stash. But once I saw this and the dyer, I was like, I need it. So this is 32 count linen by Color and Cotton in papaya, and it's so good. It is coming, yeah. It's a little bit lighter in person. It just might be the lighting. I mean, it's papaya. It looks like a papaya, which is fun. My grandma used to grow papayas in her backyard. It's very interesting because papaya, if you don't know this, unless I'm thinking of the wrong fruit, the the tree of the papaya would grow super fast and super long. But the thing is, it's mainly empty on the inside, so it's very hollow. So she would make me cut with the little saw thing or with the machete, to lower it because it would grow so fast. If we let it grow, it'd be like all the way and then probably fall on either our stuff or the neighbors. That's what reminds me of my grandma. I should tell her that. She wouldn't care. Uh, but yeah, papaya. I do know at least Sugar Glider by Mojo Stitches I want to do on this because I think that'd be cute. And I wanted to do it on persimmon, another fruit themed fabric. But this is lighter and I think that would help. And maybe do Cottage Garden samplings, koala. But yeah, super excited with this purchase. Because I bought this, I also forgot I was supposed to cancel my Bestitch Me Fabric of the Month starting for this month, but I didn't because I was busy the last month. So I might. I don't know if I'm going to show it because I want to just. Unless it's a color that for some. I don't know. I don't want to put that in the air because that just will give me an excuse to keep it, but I will probably just resell it because I know some people do that on the Facebook groups or on their Instagram because I've hit my budget limit. I don't want to go super over it. So I'll probably resell it. So I'll probably do it on my Instagram first, and if it doesn't sell from that, I'll go to a Facebook group. So be on the lookout for that. It'll be a 20 count Ada in maybe a Halloweeny color. So be on the lookout if you're interested. I probably just want to recoup my costs. So probably this is fun that I'm telling you the logistics of it. Probably just be 27 total. So that will also cover shipping. Yeah, yeah, 27 or 28. I'll figure it out. But be on the lookout if you want that. I'll have the photos up and all that, probably on my story. Alrighty, with all that, that's it. I'll see you in October. Keep on stitching, stitching on bold colors, fun stuff. Be you, cultivate your community, etc., etc.